Hey, hey there.
Hey, hey!
Welcome.
Welcome back to another episode. I am Dagny,
I'm Dabali.
and we need to talk about Black
Hmm.
Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
Wakanda Forever?
Hmm.
All right, so let's start with the movie. All right.
Oh,
Before
first, spoiler alert, disclaimer. Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the movie, you don't like spoilers, then don't listen any further.
good one, good one. Yes, all right. Okay, so if you're still here, that means you don't mind the spoils or you actually saw
Yes.
the movie. Great.
Yes.
All right, so let's start with the movie. And I'm going to ask you to start, Damali.
Mhm.
What did you feel
I
about
feel in my
Black
soul.
Panther? In your soul, how did you feel about Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was different, than it's hard to compete with. The first one was so amazing, and had such a big impact and everything. And then when I watched this one, I enjoyed it. There was the action, they were serving looks, they're serving, music and everything, but I just felt like there was something missing in it.
Mm,
Um I think that we had a lot of good ideas and a good plot, but I feel like we could have expanded more on it. Um, I feel like some of the fight scenes could have been more intense.
mhm,
Um, and I will say they did a good job of dealing with, oh, spoiler alert, Chadwick Boseman's not in it, but
mhm, mhm,
they did a good job of putting Chadwick. He's like in the movie in a nice way that's not too like I wasn't crying too much, you know what I mean?
mhm,
The way they put him in the movie. Um, but I feel like the character that played his sister,
mhm.
Shuri, right? I think that was her name.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I feel like it was she tried her best, but I feel like it was like too big for her. I feel
Mm,
like the not maybe not I don't know if it's the role or just the character. It was just too huge for her, kind of thing. Which of course is understandable. It's hard to fill the shoes of like Chadwick Boseman and his part, right? His Black Panther
mm,
kind of. And so she tried her best of acting her parts and trying to get I guess like take the mantle or so to speak kind of thing. But I felt like it left something to be desired. That's what
ooh,
I'll say.
all right.
That's what I'll start with.
Yes.
It's like you have the ingredients there, but you're not fully mixing them into
Mm,
the dish,
mhm,
and it's
mhm,
like parts I was like, it was like, there'll be like suspense or things will be building up, and I expect this like, duh, huge thing to
mm,
happen. And then I'm like, wait, that's it?
mhm,
Oh, I
mhm,
thought, and then I'm like, okay, well, maybe the next scene. Oh,
mm.
oh, that's it? Like, and I do think I did like Lupita Nyong'o. Of course, she was like amazing, but I wish we could have had her more. Um,
Mm,
I feel like we didn't have her in like as many seasons. I'm like, she's awesome. Like, why don't we have
mhm,
more of her? And I'm like, she could have even been one of the Black Panthers. Like, you know what I mean?
mhm,
you
mhm,
know. Of course, Angela Bassett, fellow Leo,
mm.
obviously Queen energy all the time, right? Doing her thing. She also could have been Black Panther. Also, could have been Black Panther. But yeah, she was awesome. And I think like also we could have had I would have liked more of her too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, yeah, I don't know what else I could, I feel like we could have done more with the so-called antagonist.
Mhm,
The whole plot and the whole conflict they had, I feel like had much easier solutions. And for some reason, I guess they didn't use those. And then so we just get destruction for no reason.
mm,
So
mhm,
yeah. So
mhm.
that's my first, I guess my first take on it.
Right, right. Okay.
I will, and also music wise, I
Yes.
like for the first movie, the music really stood out to me. Like I remembered a lot and it really like impacted me. This one, I was like, well, the one that really touched me was the one at the end, like Rihanna singing.
Mhm, mhm,
And then there was some other music they played during the credits, but during the movie, I felt like I have to go back and be like, wait, what music was there? When was
mm,
kind of thing. So it's very
mm.
different, like different vibe from having like Kendrick Lamar and like
Right.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess that'd be my first look at Black Panther.
Okay.
Your turn.
Okay. My first take on Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I felt like first throughout all of it, I felt Chadwick's absence. I felt
Yes.
like nobody in the movie was carrying everybody like Chadwick was carrying the movie in the first one.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, and and so to me, it felt like everybody is, which on the one hand, that does like correlate with the topic of grief, which they do a
Yes.
lot of in the film of like
You did a good job with grief.
somebody is absent and everybody who was connected to that person is having to figure out how to stand without this person
Mhm,
around. And so even on the one hand, it was like, well, for a movie, you should have got somebody who could carry all of this. But I understand that, like, well, actually, for this movie, it made sense for us to feel the absence completely. And
mhm.
I do commend them, if it was Marvel who decided this or the director or whoever, to decide that for this movie, we're not going to just continue the comic book as if nothing has happened. We're actually going to dedicate this
Exactly.
movie to be like, nah, the king is dead. And we all
Mhm,
have to deal with that. And so everyone thinks maybe a little awkward or a little not really what we want it to be because of that. And
mhm.
I think that's awesome because it's true. In other Marvel movies, if something happened to the actor, you just recast them and keep on going. And it's like
Yeah.
whatever. Like when Don
Mhm.
Cheadle and Terrence Howard, we just flip flopped them
Exactly. I
in
was
the
like,
movie
oh,
as if we would have noticed this is a completely different black man. But
yes.
so hello. So I'm really glad they didn't, because they could have just, we're just
Yeah.
going to cast some other black guy to play T'Challa and let's just continue the story. But I
Yeah.
think they understood the assignment that everybody would have been
Yes.
actually very upset if you're just going to make it seem like is anybody could play this. So I
Mhm,
commend them for that, just that part.
mhm.
But outside of, yes, thank you for showcasing the grief in a way that
Yes.
felt respectful and at the standard
Realistic
that
and
a
authentic.
king, requires. I also felt that it was not as epic as the first movie.
Mhm.
With the first movie, I left feeling so empowered and motivated and inspired, as if I really
Yes.
just traveled to another world almost,
Mhm.
that I felt like I could really belong in and want to explore even more, which is why I saw the movie like three more times in theaters back in
Exactly.
2018,
So
While this one, I left feeling like, oh, okay, well, I saw it.
that's cool.
That's cool. I don't need to see it again though, really. And yeah, it was okay. I mean, it was okay. And it was okay as in regular Marvel formula with the explosions and the beautiful scenery and the costumes and the one-liners and stuff. But in terms of this needing to be like Black Panther vibranium standard, I felt there were way too many holes, way
Yeah.
too many things underbaked, underexplored,
Underbaked. I like
underdeveloped,
that.
you
Put it
know?
back in the oven. Put it back in the
Exactly.
oven.
Put it back
Okay.
in the oven. This is a draft. Go back and edit some more. And so it makes
Yes.
me wonder because I remember last year they were like, oh, they've done the first cut and it's like 4 hours long. And so they have to edit and stuff. Like I remember stuff like that was coming out for this Black Panther movie. And so it made
Mhm.
me wonder now seeing it that is it that y'all cut stuff and then kind of didn't see how nothing connects because you cut too much stuff?
Mm,
Sort of thing, or was it always just not going to connect because
yeah.
there was too much of like everybody has a much bigger story they could tell but we're just not going to tell it. So I
Mhm.
felt, and even though I loved seeing other cultures, like it was really cool to see the Mayan
Yeah.
Mexican
It's
culture in
beautiful.
this
Yeah.
way. It was really beautiful. We've never I don't recall ever seeing Mayan culture depicted in this way in a film,
Mhm.
where yes, you still see the exploitation and destruction that happened to them, because in their history, they also were exploited and enslaved
Mhm.
too. But
Mhm.
also seeing the beauty of what could have been if their people were given, like Wakandans, given some form of vibranium to be able to
Mhm.
live in hiding and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so the
Exactly.
overall arching theme I saw in this movie was that you have two indigenous groups of people, the Mayans and the Wakandans,
Mhm.
are fighting each other
For
over
what?
damage that colonizers created.
Exactly. What?
And so it's like, wait a minute, the bully came and bullied both of you. Instead of
Yes.
both of you coming to put the bully in their place, y'all are going to have your own fight in the cafeteria while the bully is still just standing here waiting to steal both of y'all's lunch money once you're done. And it's like, why?
Exactly.
What are we?
Yeah.
How both of you
What
are
are
the
you
most
doing here?
powerful, the most powerful people on this planet, and this is how you're using your time. And so and that was like within a quarter of the movie, you then get that this is what the plot is. Like this is what we're gonna do for the rest of the 2 hours we're gonna sit here. Like, are you really? That I found that part like disappointing, to be honest, because I wanted to see I wanted to see the colonizers be put in their place in a way that makes sense. I don't endorse let's burn down the entire planet like some of the characters in the movie wanted to do, right? But in terms of like stepping up of like, okay, you can't do the hiding anymore because now the colonizers know you exist. But
Exactly.
instead of, and obviously you don't want to go hide again, because if you know, like one of the scenes of like Moore's like, I'm not going to move my people again. I'm going to put y'all in your place. As in, it got the
Hmm.
sense that he's been having to move their community multiple times to keep them
Hmm.
safe, because colonizers or somebody would always be like, what's down there? Sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
which is extra for them because you know, if they ever got one of their people, they would torture and experiment on them to figure out how can you breathe underwater without any equipment and stuff like that, like they do
Exactly.
to the X-Men, you know? So I understand where he's coming from in that way, but I just felt like it would have been so amazing and even more inspiring to see two different indigenous groups of people learn about each other, learn how
Hmm.
many more connections they have to each other, even though they speak different languages and they're from different parts of the planet, and see how can you collaborate with each other to maintain the harmony your people deserve,
Hmm.
but also keep yourself safe and to make a point that no, colonizers, you need to respect us. It's not about us
Hmm.
always hiding and running away from you and then
Hmm.
destroying our own stuff because you keep on coming and trying to steal our stuff.
Hmm.
And I
Exactly.
felt the plot to me felt empty when it was like you're just fighting with each other because what? Like you're not even fighting over the real issue, which is colonizers wanting to steal the vibranium because they know it exists now and they want to use it for weapons. Instead
Yeah.
of the film touching on because you have the scene of like they're at the UN, and in particular, they're pointing out the US and France being the
Hmm.
main two countries saying you should be sharing your vibranium because it's not safe for just you guys to have this as a weapon.
Hmm.
And like, I get it because it's a Marvel Disney situation, it may hit too close and too personal. If you actually did go the route of weaponry, machinery, and how Western countries have been holding the ropes on that, historically speaking, on this planet,
Hmm.
destroying everything on everybody, as well
Hmm.
as giving weapons, causing chaos in other parts of the world so they can continue
Hmm.
extracting minerals. Like there's a whole
Yes.
other way they could have gone in that
Yes.
route for this, right? Because
Hmm.
it's like you already see that the Wakandans are not sitting around making nuclear weapons to go and bully somebody with the vibranium.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? While it's obvious the US, the France, or the UN, anybody up in there, that is what they would use it for. So there's a whole
Hmm.
other angle. One could have been quite educational
Hmm.
on without completely blaming people or making it seem like the US is the terrible, whatever, none of that. But just taking note that this deal, this constant thing of people claiming we want your weapons or only we can have nuclear weapons, but you can't have it. These sorts of things, they really could have made a real comments on that in the
Hmm.
film, but we didn't get any of that at all. It didn't
Hmm.
even come up afterwards because now it's just the guy with wings and the Black Panther, and we're going to fight. We're just
Hmm.
gonna fight. And that's it. So I felt
Yeah.
like I felt they missed a lot of opportunities
To go
with
deeper.
to go deeper in so many ways that would still be beautiful, that would still give more substance and nuances to the experiences of Indigenous people all over the world, which Black Panther, the first movie, was able to do. A lot of it was more
Yeah.
of the Black American experience, of course, but still, Black people or Indigenous people all over the world still felt something about that movie
Hmm.
compared to what I felt with this one. And then also I do also agree that the deal with Shuri, the sister,
Hmm.
I also feel like it felt like an afterthought to make
Hmm.
her the Black Panther in the movie.
Yeah, I
Because the
agree.
entire movie, up until that point, nothing was leading to that. Nothing was
Hmm.
connecting the dots to foreshadow it. Nothing. It was just like we're just constantly just like complaining about everything and claiming we're sad about everything, blah blah blah. But that there was nothing about her claiming she's trying to save her people or protect her people or do anything. She was still just, I just want to be in my lab and try to forget
Yeah.
the fact that her brother is dead. Like that was kind of it. So it didn't make sense that, okay, now that the queen died the next day, she's decided she's going to do the thing.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
too
it. And it's like,
fast.
where did that come from? And then like, oh yeah, I'm drinking the herb and it's done and I'm here. And it's like, but it literally took like 30 minutes and we've been sitting here for an hour and a half.
Yeah, like what?
Where did that come from? Where did it come from? So it just felt like y'all really didn't know what
The
to.
buildup wasn't enough.
There was no build up. That's the problem. We weren't building up
Exactly.
anywhere because there was no building. And it was just, it didn't make that to me. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then yes, and then also I felt like because they chose, oh, Shuri needs to be propped up, all the other people who, to be honest, I feel were better actors had to take a
Hmm.
back seat.
Exactly.
Angela Bassett takes a back seat. Lupita Nyong'o takes a back seat. The guy who plays M'Baku takes a back seat. Everybody has to take a back seat in order to not outshine her. Because the moment they do their mega thing, you forget about her. The moment Angela
Hmm.
Bassett does her monologue, what more have I done? You know, when she's like, everyone
What do
has
I have to give?
exactly, what more do I have to give? My whole family is gone. You know, like you completely forget about Shuri. It's like it's all about her, Angela Bassett, right now. Okay. So
Hmm.
it didn't make so to me, I felt like you have all these amazing actors, and they all kind of have to suppress themselves a little bit in order to not overshadow this character
Shuri.
you're trying to be the main one. And I'm like, that's unfortunate. Like it just doesn't kind of leaves a bad aftertaste, unfortunately, because it wasn't needed really
Hmm.
in that way.
Hmm.
Then also with the music, I also agree that I actually got the album to listen to,
Hmm.
which maybe we can talk a little bit more about that later, a little bit later.
Hmm.
But I also agree that the music for both is very different.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I felt the one from the first one had much more edge and oomph to it. And I don't
Hmm.
know if it's because it was more hip hop focused, but it just like, I remember when the first trailer came out for the first Black Panther and the song
Yeah.
that was with it, it was so like, what? Are you
Awesome.
serious? Let's it felt like, you know? Well, with this one, and maybe because it's like, well, we're grieving, so it should be like a song that would be at a funeral, and then some other stuff because we're in different cultures. And I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, but the oomph of like,
Yeah, it's
I can barely
missing.
remember what was being played. Well, with the
Yeah.
first one, it reminded me of like how when like I saw the movie The Lion King in theaters, and I
Hmm.
remember when all of us we walked out of it, we were singing the songs that were in the movie, and we
Yeah.
just saw it like that time. Same with
Hmm.
the first Black Panther movie, walking out of it already humming the tune to some of the
Hmm.
songs that I was listening to, even though that was
Yeah.
the first time hearing it. So I don't know what formula goes into that they decided not to use those ingredients in the second one for the
Hmm.
music.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, so that is in a very big, ginormous nutshell. That was my first take of Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Right. Yes, I agree with you. It was so kind of like the only thing they did good with, I think, was the way they dealt with grief.
Mm,
I felt that was very beautifully done. It wasn't put under the rug or rushed or like everyone had. And I think part of it was not all acting. I think the actors really were
hmm.
going through their grieving process kind of thing.
Yes.
And I liked how there are different, like you saw the different stages of grief. You saw the different ways people dealt with grief and how no one, and I like how there's no push. It was like, hey, if that's how you deal with your grieving, that's fine. If that's how
Mm,
everyone gave everyone their space to grieve. And I think they did a good job of like, and the way they put Chadwick Boseman in there and the pictures of
yes.
him in there and everything. And I think it was very beautifully done. It was very tastefully done, I think, um, with everything. Uh, and also, of course, the traditional stuff was really cool
Mm,
to see.
hmm.
The outfits, of course, were beautiful and everything. Um, but I agree that the plot, like And then what's strange is that like the solution they could have used in the beginning
Mm.
when the Wakandans and the um I've forgotten the name of the
It starts with a T, Telcor something.
anyway, both of them,
Namor. It was just
yeah, the
Namor. Yes.
Namor, yeah,
Uh-huh.
they don't use a solution, but then like they have a solution, they don't use it, and then later at the end of the movie, they do use that solution.
Yeah,
So I'm like, why didn't you just do that in the first
exactly.
place? Like, why all this destruction and
Hmm.
drama, and then you're like, well, actually, yeah, we can protect each other, and I'm like, wait, why didn't you do that? I
Hmm.
don't get it.
Hmm.
Um, and then also they had another scientist that they, I might know, remember it's a spoiler alert, but I still don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But like the girl they had that was like the scientist girl in the school, like in college, I feel like why I didn't what? Like I was
Why are we
like
here?
I feel like
Why are
why
we
are we here?
here?
What are you
Yep.
doing? What is the point?
Yep.
What are we doing with you?
We don't even know. It's
I
just
don't
comic relief. She just has
yeah.
one-liners for comic
It's just
relief.
one-liners, comic relief, funny, haha, but I
Yep.
don't know why you're here. Like,
Yep. And then she's always
um,
unconscious when we need her help.
exactly. And
Like
I'm
everybody
like,
is on the floor, no one has a gun, and where is she? She fainted. The
yes,
queen is in the water. She needs help. Where is she? She fainted. And I'm like, then why are
fainted.
you here?
Mhm.
Why are you
Why are you here?
here?
Like, and then the other actors they didn't use either. The one who was in what was that? What's her name? His really unique face.
Yes,
But I was
Michaela Coel, I think. She was in the
Michaela
show
Carell.
Chewing Gum and something else.
Yeah.
So
And the
she's
other one, the
Ghanaian
Rwanda
by
one.
way of she's Ghanaian and British or British Ghanaian.
British, yeah.
Yes.
But she
Yes.
too, like I'm like, she was only in the movie for like 2 seconds.
2.5 seconds
2.5. I was like, wait, what? Like,
with
why?
1.5 lines.
I don't get it. Like,
But
use your
how? How?
actors.
Exactly. She's an
Like, I don't
amazing
get that.
actor, and you didn't even use her. Didn't even
Just
use
there.
it. Which was just weird to me. Which I also
Mhm.
found, which again, I was like, is it because they cut everything out? Or did she
Yeah.
sign up to just be here for 2.5 seconds? I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
They don't just don't use everything. It's weird. And then the same thing,
yes.
I think you brought up too, like the bat well, the antag well, it wasn't really an antagonist, but in the beginning he was an antagonist, the flying, um first king or whatever. I was like,
No
his
more.
outfit, Namor, his outfit,
I don't know who did not have a budget for Namor's outfit.
like
Why is he wearing
wait,
boxer shorts the entire time? Isn't he a god? Isn't he supposed to be a god? What is this? Why? Like
I
I don't
don't get
like
it.
how your imagination for everyone else's wardrobe is so beautiful. And then
Hmm.
there's this man in boxer shorts with wings on his
Board
feet. Like what
shorts.
is he?
Like,
He
I don't
doesn't even have,
understand. And
I know he's
no,
in the water, but still, like
yeah.
damn.
It wasn't giving what it was supposed to
Not at
give. I
all.
was
Even though the
like,
jewelry was beautiful. Like I love that, okay,
the
you guys
jewelry
really
was nice.
utilized ancient Mayan jewelry, the jade, because jade is
Yes,
very
that was
important and
nice. That
stuff.
was
That was
nice.
nice. It was nice.
Where's the
And
rest of
he
your
could
cool
have
clothes? I
done,
don't get
where's the rest of his clothes? Like, where's the rest of his outfit? What happened? What
it.
happened?
Right?
I get it. It makes sense for him to be barefoot because, yeah, you're in the water all the time. But why
Yeah.
is it like he's only when he's in his house underwater that he might wear a blanket, which doesn't make sense to me
Mhm.
because you're underwater. Why do you need the blanket?
Yeah. Why
Like,
do you need a
why?
blanket? It's weird.
Is it
You're in the
cold?
water, weirdo.
Is it cold? I don't
But
understand. Even though, yeah, the
yeah.
other people in his city, underwater city, they were wearing
Yeah.
clothes. Even the
Mhm.
men, they were wearing clothes. They're not just walking
Yeah.
around
So why are you just the
in
only one not wearing? I
shorts.
don't get it. It's like,
I didn't understand. I was
uh,
like, for
yeah.
someone
And it's just,
who looks as almost as powerful as Black Panther, why?
aren't you dressed to impress? Like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? And then also like a spoiler alert too that Killmonger is in the movie and the 5 seconds he has is
Yes.
even stronger than like a lot of
Oh yeah.
Shuri's you know what I mean? He
Shuri
was
was
there
there
for
for
like
two
10 seconds.
hours and 41 minutes,
And I was
and
like,
Killmonger outdid her in 5 minutes.
exactly. And I'm like, and I
Yeah.
don't know if it's because sometimes like maybe some actors are like they're good at some roles but not others kind of
Mm.
thing. Like because, for example, it wasn't as glaring in the first one. When in the
Yes.
first Black Panther, the role that she played worked. You know, the cute little
Yes.
sister with the
Right.
gadget, and it worked, and it didn't take away. Like I wasn't like, oh my god, it's horrible. Like it worked, kind of thing.
Exactly.
But then,
Because she even had a race scene in the first one where she was driving the
exactly.
car and she was in the
Yeah,
action.
and
Like
that's
it
what
worked.
she's good at. That
Yes.
role was good, but then in this one, they try to make her have a bigger role or a different role that maybe was not
Mm.
for her, kind of thing. Like
Mm.
maybe it would have been better. I don't know how they would have done it because, like, if they would have found someone else, I guess that could be Black Panther. I don't know. Like if she was
Mm.
the one that was helping with that, or she's the scientist behind that. But then they find like there's some other Black Panther that comes. I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't know where you find them. I don't know.
Right.
But like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I don't. It's difficult. It's just a lot of like plot stuff and a lot of things. And I was watching it and I'm like, I mean, I what? Like I'm like, why are you the you are? Like, you know, because I just didn't feel and like her like she was so like Wakanda and all trying to be all like dun, 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 like dramatic and all this stuff. And I was just like, can you just stop? Like, you know what I mean? Like
It's
it's
true.
not giving. Like,
I did
yeah,
not
the
feel her
intensity is there.
anger. I
Like,
didn't feel
yeah, the
her
anger.
grief, her
Like, if you think about
sadness.
the first one about like
Yeah.
Killmonger and Black Panther, how like
Yes.
the emotions and the
Yes.
intensity and the anger, and I was like, ah, like you know, and Angela Bassett too. I was like, ah, and all this stuff.
Yes.
But then for Shuri, I was like, oh, I mean, I get that you're sad, but I need more. Like, I don't really, and I get that you're supposed to be powerful, but like, you're fumbling the bag. I don't know what's happening. Do you need practice? Like, you know what I mean?
You know,
Like,
you know.
I mean, and I understand, yes, there is that part of it is that sense of like, oh, it's like big shoes to fill. And
Mm.
like you can't be like your brother. I mean, that's fine, but I feel like
Hmm.
you'd think she would make the Black Panther thing that would fit her. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like if you're good at gadgets and stuff and scientific stuff, I
Hmm.
would think that she would use more of her scientific background or
That
scientific
part. That
tools and
part.
skills
Hmm.
to do what she has to do. Like this is the type of Black Panther she is. You see what I mean?
Exactly. Which could be like a
You
whole
know?
robot Transformers
Exactly.
type thing.
Making her to be like him and be the this tough guy strength thing.
Hmm.
Like, no, that's not. Use what she is known for. If she's good at
Yes.
gadgets, she's good at those stuff. Make a scientist Black Panther,
There you
okay?
go. There you go. Yes.
So, you know, that's what I feel. They could like she has like there's skills that she has, there's abilities
Right.
she has. Use those abilities to tell your story. Don't
Hmm.
try to make her into like, oh, now she's this tough person and now she and
Hmm.
like but you can't really control your stuff. But I like how do you know how to fight already? I don't even know.
Exactly.
Is that how it happens? You just know how to fight? Or, like
Hmm.
clearly not
Hmm.
because you're
And you can get
fumbling.
stabbed and you can just, pull it out of you and keep on
Yeah,
walking
and
because,
that's
yeah.
supposed to be super dramatic. I'm like, I don't.
Hmm.
It's like trying so hard to like be all like ah, and yet I'm not.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to be like a lion, but you're like
You
a
know.
mouse. You know what I mean? Is that a bad way to put that? I don't know. You know, you're trying to roar like a lion, but you're a mouse, and I'm like, do
Yeah.
mouse things, not lion things.
You
Because
know.
mice have strength. Mice
They
are
do.
like
They can get
mice
it
can be
done. They can
OGs,
get it
okay?
done.
And if they're
Yes.
smart enough, they can deal with a lion.
Oh
But
yeah.
like, don't pretend to be a lion if you're a mouse, and don't like pretend to be
Mm.
a mouse if you're a lion. Like, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
you know, it was a lot to give to her, and I feel like they could have helped her more, or had or other characters also could have helped her more with their, you know. I think it would have been interesting if Lupita was the Black Panther. That would be
Yes.
interesting, right?
Yes.
Like that would be a but I guess they can't do that because like she's not related. Yeah,
Mm.
maybe you have to be related to you or something. But yeah, it was just like so many parts where I was like waiting, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what's happening, and then they just drop it,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, wait, that's it? What happened to the other? Oh, like that, and then it was like the end of the movie, and I'm like, wait, where's the rest of it? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how I felt. I was like, wait a minute, this movie was only 5 minutes. Where's the rest? Oh man, I was
Hey,
like,
it's
is it
true.
done?
It's true.
You
No.
know,
Yeah.
and I don't know. And I know, yeah, sometimes the sequels can be hard to, but I still think that like,
Especially if the first one was so amazing and epic and one in a lifetime, history was made
right.
kind of thing. Yeah,
But I
it
mean, it was a
can.
great effort. The outfits were great. It was awesome. The grieving they dealt with well. It was cool hearing about like
Mm,
the Mayans and stuff, and that Neymar character is really awesome and powerful, and that was great. But I just feel like Angela Bassett, obviously, Lupita Nyong'o, awesome, whatever. But
yes.
I just feel like there's a lot of plot things they could have done better with
Yeah.
and added to, and like dealt with some edges more. Like
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it was like it was there, but you needed to just put some more fire on it, put it in the
Hmm.
oven longer.
Right. And then for wrapping up a little, I just wanted to add a little more in terms of the
Yes.
music. And I
Yes.
felt like for the first album, for the first movie, since it was
Mhm.
heavy with Kendrick Lamar
Yes.
being the part of the producing as well as he's on majority of the tracks, it that one felt like a full packaged album per se,
Yes.
where each track kind of blends when it comes to the theme, it comes to what it's talking about, even though they had a few different genres in that album. It also felt like it spoke to the story of Killmonger. It felt like from when you're listening to the lyrics and stuff, it felt like this is Killmonger's perspective on what's going on between him and T'Challa. In the second album, even though they have big names on it, it starts with Rihanna, it ends with Rihanna, Thames is on it, all these other people are on it. To me, the second album feels more like a mix or a playlist.
Yeah.
And all the tracks, it's really awesome that it's so diverse because we got tracks in different African languages. We got tracks in Spanish. We got all kinds of stuff going on. We have reggaeton in
Yeah.
it, amapianos in it, Afrobeat is in it, like all kinds of stuff is in it, which is yay, awesome. There's even some trap in it, like great.
Let's go. Hmm.
But it doesn't, there's still an oomph kind of missing in it for me, and it doesn't feel like a full album. So when you're playing it on its own throughout, sometimes you get a little jolted of like, is this the same album? Because it goes,
Doesn't
the
connect.
energy just like shifts off completely with each track in the when you play it in the order that it's set up in. And some of the and none of it feels like that edgy, powerful, we gonna get it done right now. You know what I'm saying? Like Black Panther's here kind of thing. It had
Yeah.
a, yes, there is more like slow stuff going on. There's more the any hip hop ones, it feels kind of out of place. It wasn't, it's not necessarily, there's a few tracks I do enjoy, but it still wasn't giving the way the first album was, in
Hmm.
my opinion. And then one thing I did take note, which was cool, was that when I was watching it in theaters, because I watched it here in Accra, and when the song that Burna Boy is on came on in the theater, everybody, like it was on for a little bit, and then the whole crowd gasped and started cheering because they recognized his voice. Because none of them, I didn't
Yes.
know that Burna Boy his song was in the movie, or he did a song for the movie. But everyone was like, "Hey, Burna Boy, yeah!" Like them, like represent sort of thing. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." So I thought, like, in terms of where it's gone, because in the first album, there's not as many international artists on the album, of course, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that the second one, the majority of the album is a really an international global situation. One, I think that is totally awesome. And that's a big deal for a Hollywood movie
Hmm.
because we don't really be doing that with our movies. So I commend them for that because I can tell that they definitely took the time or the effort music wise to produce stuff that is relevant for the region that music is from,
Exactly. Yes.
still for the movie. But these types of genres, from reggaeton to amapiano or house and stuff, there it's very relevant to what's happening now or what's hot now.
Mhm.
I just feel like that it maybe that the edginess and the oomph and the unapologetic badass vibe that hip hop can give to music kind of
Mhm.
wasn't really in this album.
Mhm.
And I don't know if maybe for me, I'm hearing it as maybe it's something else, but for me, I'm hearing it as maybe because it wasn't, we're doing multiple genres within a hip hop album, as opposed to, well, we're just doing multiple genres and that's it kind of thing. So I felt
Yeah.
that was Like it's okay, but like there's a few tracks on it that I'll just add to another playlist to play and not
Exactly.
play
Yeah.
the entire album compared to the other one where like if I'm in the mood, I would play the first
Yeah.
Black Panther album. So there's
Yeah.
that with the music.
Yeah. I agree. I have to listen to all of it again so I can remember the songs. I only remember like Rihanna's song and then the one reggaeton one I think they had or
Hmm.
something. But yeah, I think overall it was like, okay, they did what they had to do, but anyway, we'll see what they end up doing with the next one. I assume it's
You
gonna
know,
return.
because I commend them for rewriting it this way so that we are going
Yeah.
to have a T'Challa in the next one.
Yes. Hmm.
But replacing it in the story in a way that makes sense of like, oh, it's
Yes.
his person. And I'm like, okay, that
Hmm.
makes sense. So you kind of got the sense that this movie was a way of more of a
Send off.
dedication to Chadwick and
Yeah, like a
more of
farewell.
giving the audience a moment to grieve. And now we're going to take you on with the rest of the story kind of
Yes. Yeah.
vibe.
Hmm.
That's what I felt
Like a
like
closure.
with this. So I'm not sure if Namor is supposed to be in it again also, because the way he ended his
Yeah.
deal too, it was like, no, we're just going to wait for them to ask for a favor and then we'll take over kind of thing. And I'm like, okay,
I'm like,
that
okay.
makes sense. Okay. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, yeah, anyway, yeah. Let us know your thoughts if you yay or nay. We'd love to hear what you got to say about this
yes.
movie. How did you feel? Did you watch the first one already? Did you have to go back and watch the first one and the second one? Like what's going on? Let us know in the comments below
Hmm.
somewhere where the comments are.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that is another thing. One last thing. It was a big deal. Black Panther did do a premiere in Nigeria. I
That's
believe this is the
yes.
first time a
Yes.
Hollywood movie has done a movie premiere in an African country. So, I mean, in spite of the holes, there are some
Yes.
things that they understood the
They're
assignment. You
giving
know, you
giving what it
know.
has to give.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yes, definitely let us know. What did you think of Black Panther Wakanda? Are you
Yes.
looking forward to the next one? What else would you add to the conversation? Let us know, and we'll catch you on our next episode.
Yeah,
Take
Wakanda
care.
forever. Yeah.
Wakanda forever.
Yes. And rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Yes. Rest in power all the time,
Yes, rest in
always.
power. Yes.
Yes. All right. Take care. Ciao.
Okay. Bye.